They say dolls only move when someone plays with them. But what if the doll was the one playing you? What if the toy you gave your child already had a soul inside it? This isn't a fairy tale. It's not a bedtime story. This is the nightmare of a father who brought something home that didn't want to leave. And by the time he understood what it really was, it was already too late. Ethan had raised his daughter, Claire, alone since she was 5. He worked 2 jobs, made her lunches, kissed her goodnight, and told her bedtime stories to keep the shadows away. On her 10th birthday, he wanted to make it special. So he took Claire and her grandmother to the Edgewood Fall Festival, a place lined with rusting rides, sagging tents, and smiling clowns that never quite felt alive. The air was cold and smelled of burnt caramel and wet leaves, but Claire didn't care. She ran through the fair with delight until she stopped dead in her tracks in front of a forgotten corner tent. She whispered, "That one." The vendor, an elderly woman with a milky eye and ash-gray lips, stepped forward. "Not that one," she rasped. "That one's not for sale." Ethan chuckled awkwardly. "It's just a doll." The vendor's face remained still. "That one plays back." But Claire was already enchanted. She pleaded, cried, desperate to make her happy, offered double, then triple. Without another word, the vendor handed the doll over. No price, no smile, just a whisper. Never let her sleep alone with it. Claire hugged the doll tight. Her name is Bella. That night, she slept with Bella curled in her arms. Ethan passed by her room later, smiling, until he noticed Bella was gone. He found the doll sitting upright on the hallway floor, head tilted, eyes wide open. He picked it up. That's when he heard it, a giggle. Not Claire's, a high-pitched, dry giggle from behind the walls. Then footsteps, rapid, faint, coming from inside the plaster. He spun around. Nothing. Claire was fast asleep, but Bella's porcelain cheeks were cracked, and from the cracks oozed a thick, black liquid. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed the doll, ran outside, and threw it into the garbage bin by the curb. He marched back inside, shaken. The next morning, Claire sat at the kitchen table, brushing Bella's hair, smiling. No cracks, no stains, no explanation. Ethan froze. His stomach dropped. He tried to take the doll. Claire screamed, the kind of scream that didn't sound like a little girl. A low, guttural growl followed from the doll. It was brief, but Ethan heard it, and so did Claire's grandmother, who dropped the plate she was holding. "She brought it back," the old woman whispered. "The cursed one." From that day on, Claire changed. She became more distant. Her drawings, once filled with sunshine and butterflies, were now covered in figures, long, lanky shadows with stitched mouths and hollow eyes. Every one of them looked like Bella. She spoke less, slept less, and when she did sleep, she whispered in a voice that didn't sound like hers. "Bella says you're lying. Bella says you're scared. Bella says you'll go away soon." Ethan tried again. He took the doll, drove across town, and threw it in a donation bin. 2 hours later, he returned. Claire was in her room, laughing with Bella. The same dress, same eyes, same growing cracks. That night, Ethan heard the front door open. Claire was asleep, her grandmother too. But something was walking through the hallway. Slow, deliberate, dragging something behind it. A scraping sound. He grabbed a flashlight, heart pounding, and stepped into the living room. Bella was sitting on the coffee table, facing the hallway, waiting. The flashlight flickered. Behind him, something whispered, "Play with me." The next day, Ethan found his mother-in-law burning sage. She held a rosary in one hand and a small leather-bound book in the other. "We end this tonight," she said. That evening, while Claire slept, they surrounded her bed with salt, drew protective markings on every door, and took Bella to the basement. Ethan had built a fire kit. His hands trembled. Bella stared back at him, smiling wider than ever. He hesitated, but then, with a deep breath, he tossed her into the flames. The porcelain screamed. Not cracked, screamed. A sound like nails on glass, like a woman shrieking inside a tunnel. The fire roared high, and then silence. Ethan exhaled until he heard his daughter upstairs, screaming. They ran. Claire lay on the floor, blood pouring from her eyes and mouth. Her grandmother collapsed, murmuring ancient prayers. They rushed Claire to the hospital. For 3 days, she was unresponsive. On the 4th day, she opened her eyes. Ethan burst into the room, breathless. Claire was sitting upright, smiling, with Bella, whole, perfect, cradled in her arms like before. And as Ethan stepped into the room, the doll turned and blinked. No strings, no gears, just life. Its eyes locked with Ethan's, and it grinned. They moved, changed names, burned the house. But at night, Ethan still hears whispers from his daughter's room. And sometimes, the whispers aren't hers. If you're still thinking about Bella's smile, about the eyes that followed Ethan, then maybe you already know. Some toys don't belong to children. They belong to something else. Subscribe now, but be warned. The next story might already be in your house.